Thank you everyone for joining us. Today's webinar topic is how to increase online conversions with dynamic imaging. And as the panelists today, we have with us Manish Chaudhary, who is the CEO of Pulse Commerce. Pulse Commerce is the leading order and inventory platform, empowering retailers to improve order turnaround, optimize inventory, and fulfillment costs by over 20%. We also have with us Mark Spencer from LiquidPixels. Mark leads the development of the LiquidPixels product base and services infrastructure, and he has extensive expertise in software, hardware, systems architecture design and integration, imaging, processing, and color management. And we are really excited to have both the panelists on board with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Manish to start the webinar off.
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you again for joining. We are really excited to present to you today on this very topic of dynamic imaging, personalization, and customization. So really excited to have our co-speaker, Mark Spencer, who will teach us how their tool set works. So we're going to break this up into three parts. I will talk about the need for personalization, how the personalization market is growing and what's to come, what are the developments that are taking place in the market, and then I will hand this over to Mark, who will teach us how the innovative tools and technologies work and how you can bring your ideas to market with the combination of LiquidPixels and Pulse Commerce technologies. And then we'll end with a real-life case study where both our companies have helped a merchant gain some outstanding results. So that's kind of the format we will follow. Please don't forget to send your questions in. We'd love to take them. We hope to have plenty of time towards the end of the presentation to answer as many questions as possible. And if you're not able to get to your question in real time, we will get back to you via email. So please keep them coming. So just by way of introduction, what is Pulse Commerce? Pulse Commerce is a technology company. We provide solutions for omni-channel commerce. I won't spend a lot of time into it. We have three different products. Our flagship product is the order and inventory platform that synchronizes all the various channels, allowing merchants to succeed across all the different sales channels and fulfillment channels, and acts as a glue between different systems and technologies, whether you're selling in store, you're selling online, or you're selling on marketplaces, or you're servicing your customers through the traditional call center, contact center, and you may have your legacy applications like ERPs. We bring all of this together to provide innovative solutions for today's modern, empowered consumer. And just to spend a little bit of time on our flagship product, which is the order and inventory platform. Some of the key attributes of this platform is ability to execute, buy anywhere, fulfill anywhere, return anywhere strategy. So if you have more than one channel, stores, online, as you know, there's a lot of great developments happening online. Even for Amazon, you can now take your Amazon orders and return them at Kohl's. So smaller, mid-sized merchants need to innovate, and they need to have access to similar technology that they can compete with the giants like Amazon. And that is our goal with our platform, is to make that available. For example, the product information management that's built in to our platform allows you to enter your product catalog information once and then syndicate the same information to all the different channels in the format that they like. So your website may consume more rich information with images, videos, and so on, whereas marketplaces may not care about that because you're adding your product, say, to an existing listing. And then fulfillment optimization. How can you fulfill your orders faster, without errors, and from the most efficient location to minimize your cost? And while we do all this, we collect a lot of actionable insights that we bring to our merchants through easy-to-use reports, dashboards that allows you to measure, analyze, and improve your operations on a continuous basis. So with that, we'll go right into the heart of the presentation today, which is all about dynamic imaging and personalization. Why should you care about this technology? The reason is this market is booming. This market is growing very, very fast. So the global personalized goods gifts market is expected to reach $13.6 billion by the year 2021. That's 9% cumulative annual growth year over year from 2007 to 2021. We can't speak about too many other industries that are growing at the same speed. Even though this data is for the global market, US and the Americas is actually going to be the leading regional segment, generating both the highest revenue and maximum incremental growth during this period. And that is the reason why you need to pay attention. There are several factors that are contributing to this growth of this personalized gifts market. Number one is that there is a growing gifting culture and increasing demand for seasonal decorations. So the gifting culture is evolving with an increasing number of occasions now where the gifts are exchanged. Consumers customize gifts through personalization, configuration, and on-demand printing to add value and to make their gifts unique. Even seasonal decorations such as decorative cups, plates, and napkins account for a major portion of the total revenue generated by this market. Growing home and wall decor market has also been helping in the expansion of this personalized gifts. And these demand for these gifts experience a surge during the holidays that are coming, like Christmas, Halloween, Easter, and Hanukkah. And if you're in a specialized niche market, as our case study, like the bridal market, that market is also seasonal. The second factor that's contributing to this massive growth is innovative gifting solutions and advancements in technology. Product innovation is required to generate consumer interest and sales. Just like before the iPhone came out for the first time, nobody was as interested in the smartphones market, but the minute they brought that innovation to market, and suddenly the sales of smartphones skyrocketed. In the same way, an example of this in the personalized space would be the recent example from Hallmark, where they launched Hollywood-inspired decorative ornaments based on popular characters from the popular movies, which has created a lot of revenue opportunity for them. Another trend that we see is eco-friendly gifts and novelty items that are gaining significant interest among consumers, particularly in the children's toys. And even the manufacturers are getting very innovative in order to retain customer loyalty and to increase their sales. They are streamlining their design operations, and they're also becoming more efficient in terms of ordering so that they can support customization capabilities and new ideas. There's a growing trend with artificial intelligence, which is not the topic of our conversation today, but manufacturers are rapidly adopting these new technologies to get ahead and to support retailers and brands like yourself. The third trend that's leading to this massive growth is expansion in online retail, kiosks, and distribution channels. Just a decade ago, there were limited opportunities for consumers to shop and to take advantage and buy these personalized goods. However, now, retail participation across various distribution channels is contributing to the growth of this market. For example, mass merchandisers like Walmart and Target and pharmacy chains like CVS and Walgreens have equipped their stores with dry mini labs, which provide on-site personalized photo gifts, as you may have ordered or taken advantage of. So these are all helping generate consumer interest in personalized goods, and then distributing this information through social media, and which is very cost-effective, gets faster responses from a large customer base. So a massively growing market that you should be paying attention to. But before we delve into this topic in great detail, I would like to cover the difference between personalization and customization. People tend to use these terms interchangeably, but there are distinct differences between the two processes. Personalization is a process of adding personal information like name, message, or photo to items so they are completely individual. So for each person, it will be totally unique. This is very different, obviously, than the term personalization used by web designers and marketers for software that serves different content based on the user profile data or persona. So this is different than web personalization that you may hear of often. Customization, on the other hand, is a process of allowing users and customers to collaborate on design elements like colors, material, configuration, or features. So for example, on the right-hand side, if you personalize a pendant with your mom's name, that's a personalized item. However, if you decide to pick the color for your rims for your bike, that would be an example of customization. Dynamic personalization capabilities, like the one offered by our co-presenter LiquidPixels, provides marketers the unique ability to use rich media to easily manipulate content and properties of images for personalized content variation, targeted promotion, or even localization. They provide tools for visual content authoring and rendering, which allows for creation of highly immersive product builders and configurators. And you can do this in a very sophisticated fashion, and the customers themselves can participate in this process very easily, and you can deploy this fairly at ease. And this is a common myth that this requires some crazy technology that's unachievable by mid-market merchants is not true at all. And I know our guest speaker will be talking a lot about that as well. What's so special about customization and personalization? There is something called the IKEA effect. The IKEA effect is a cognitive bias in which consumers place a disproportionately high value on products that they partially created. So this name obviously comes from IKEA, the Swedish furniture manufacturer, which sells many products that require assembly. The price is low for IKEA products largely because they take labor out of the equation. With just a Phillips screwdriver, an Allen wrench, and a rubber mallet, IKEA customers can literally build a home's worth of furniture on a very tight budget. But what happens when they do that? They fall in love with their IKEA creations. Even when the parts are missing or the items are incorrectly built, customers in the study found that they still love the fruits of their labor. This is not new. Product designers and marketers have been familiar with this so-called IKEA effect long before it got its name. In fact, in the 1950s, there were instant cake mixes were first introduced in the market, and many homeowners were very resistant because these instant cake mixes made the cooking look way too easy, which made their labor and skill feel undervalued. And the manufacturers were wondering why the sales of these products were not going up, because homemakers did not feel invested in the baking process, so they put no value on the product. So what did the manufacturers do? They actually, in response to the problem, they made a very simple change to the recipe and now introduced adding an egg. By simply adding one more step, which was cracking an egg, homemakers felt that they were actually baking, which immediately resulted in increased sales of the instant cake mixes. So there you have it. So the results suggest that when you construct a particular product yourself, even if you do a poor job of it, the end value result is more than had they not put any effort into its creation. So it's basically, we love it more if we made it. So that's a very important psychological principle behind personalization and customization. And that's not the only example. I want to provide you with some experimental evidence that I designed it myself effect creates economic value for the customer. Self-designed products generate a significantly higher willingness to pay, which is one of the biggest obstacles in online commerce, is getting the customer to add the item to cart and then finally to check out. And we can get over that with something called self-expression in online buying. And don't take my word for it. There are some scientifically proven experiments performed by behavioral economists that have proven that this technique works. So I want to share with you two examples, two experiments. In the first experiment, the subjects were tasked of assembling IKEA furniture. Researchers then priced the items the experimenters had assembled, as well as pre-assembled IKEA furniture. The results showed that subjects were willing to pay 63% more for the furniture they assembled themselves than the pre-assembled furniture. 63% more after investing your time and energy. That's impressive. And even if the end result is not as polished or professional, customers get emotionally attached to the items that they have built. And this is confirmed by professor of behavioral economics at Duke University, Dan Ariely, where he gave a group of test subjects to make tiny origami frogs using paper. And the second group was presented with the finished paper frogs. At the end, turns out that the folks that actually participated in making and folding paper were willing to pay 23 cents to take home their creations, while the second group, which were presented with the pre-made items, were willing only to pay 5 cents for the ready-made origami. So this led Ariely to conclude, while the non-builders saw their amateurish creations as nearly worthless crumpled paper, the builders imbued their origami with value. So that's the growing trend that when people invest their time, which is so scarce today, that they are more inclined to buy, and they also put a premium on their creation, and they're willing to pay more. And this is contrary, to this whole shift towards consumer products is very contrary to the commoditized consumer products world that we live in today. Consumers on one side want customization and personalization. In fact, the survey suggests that 42% of consumers are interested in technology to customize products, which is great because we will be learning about a technology that will help us with online personalization and customization with LiquidPixels. And 19% of the people are actually willing to pay at least a 10% premium to customize or personalize the purchase. And this is challenging for the mass manufacturers that have traditionally relied on selling few high-volume SKUs through the large retail chains. So we are entering a new world where manufacturing flexibility is going to be really important to create customized and personalized products across all pricing tiers efficiently and profitably. And that's where mid-market merchants have a unique opportunity to get on this bandwagon, on this growing trend where you can compete because the mass manufacturers are not there yet. while giving choice is a great thing, the flip side of the IKEA effect is known as the paradox of choice. And too much choice is actually bad. And this was also proven with some scientific study. In a study, there was two groups of shoppers were offered samples of jams. One group had to choose from 24 different jam samples, and second group was presented just 6. And guess what? The customers that only selected from 6 jam samples actually bought 10 times more than the people that were offered 24 choices. Why? Less choice means more sales, because too many choices make it too difficult for customers to decide. So as you go about implementing personalization and customization, very important to pay attention to how much choice is the right amount of choice. And that answer comes from George Miller, and his golden rule of customization. Your customers want customization, but you must give them the right amount of flexibility based on what we know about them. And this is a proven George Miller principle of 7 plus or minus 2, which is sort of the optimal number of items that people can keep in their short-term memory. And that's the reason why you find the telephone numbers are 7 digits, not counting the area code, of course. So it goes way back. More options are possible. You can go higher, but you must break it down into categories and chunk them. Customers require just the right number of options in order to maximize your return so that they get closest to what they want. If you give them too many choices, they're going to get frustrated by the whole customization and personalization process, and you will find that that's not going to work for you. So very important to think about simplicity as you go about implementing this technology. So before I hand this over to Mark for his part of the presentation, I want to focus on 5 different rules. Consumers who buy customized products are far more engaged, and they spend a lot more than consumers who buy standard products. How much more? There's 67% more website engagement by customers who engage in the personalization and customization process on your website or in your store. And they're willing, and they would pay, their average order value is about 28% higher. And other parameters also depict this net increase. Referral rate, which is the net promoter score, is 45% higher, and their purchase frequency is higher as well. So we know that personalization and customization is right on money. But in order to do this well, what we found, the attributes of successful companies when they go about implementing this: number 1, know what you want. Before you test the waters with customization and personalization, you need to be clear about the strategic value you hope to derive from your customization efforts. If it is primarily to engage with customers and build brand loyalty or brand advocacy, think of it as a marketing expense, similar to, say, PR, advertising, or social media. So you may have seen or heard the My M&Ms campaign, where customers can go and personalize their M&Ms very quickly, or the Pepperidge Farm customization of goldfish crackers. It basically supports the brand, makes it unique, so almost like a PR stunt, if you will. But other companies pursue customization for direct profit potential. So there's a fashion brand called Longchamp. They created this very iconic tote called Le Pliage, and customers can actually go and design that tote bag themselves, and that results in immediate profit and immediate sales for that company. Or there are some cases where companies have gone to the extreme end where they've actually built their entire business, the core business around customization. A company by the name of Wild Things, where you can design your Insulite jacket, and that's the core product. So you need to be clear on what you're trying to accomplish. Number 2 rule is know how much customization you really need to offer. We talked about the George Miller's 7 plus minus 2 rule. That is more with regards to how many choices in terms of the technical implementation. Here, we are referring to how much customization that you really need to offer, and that come in different flavor. Some brands allow customers to design a unique product that will be built to order with a range of features that can be added. So, for example, there's a company by the name of Indochina that allows customers to build custom design suits that's only available online. Some companies can simply offer a minor customization, like putting a monogram or engraving on a briefcase, like our client, subject of our case study later in this presentation, MyWeddingReceptionIdeas. They allow you to put monograms and fonts and colors on standard napkins. And then there are sub-companies like Serena and Lily, which simply provide ability to do consumer choice bundling. It's not personalization or customization, but it feels like it, because all the customer is doing is picking the items that will go into a bundle, but those items themselves are not customized. And in spite of that, Serena and Lily's average order value shot up 88% for customers who bundle than the customers who buy items separately. So know how much customization you really need to offer. Rule number 3, keep it simple. There is risk to customizations. Customers need a simple and easy design template as a starting point. You can't just give them a blank canvas, because many of them will not be able to complete the process. So if the design process online is too complicated, difficult, or unattractive, many shoppers will be turned off. And user experience plays a huge role. And we took all of those into account when we built this integration with LiquidPixels for MyWeddingReceptionIdeas. You can feel free to check out their website. Having too many options results in customers abandoning the process, and that's why the best companies know how much to offer. And we already talked about George Miller's 7 plus or minus 2 rule. Rule number 4, let people share. And this is something that our merchant was very determined on, and we know why. Because companies offering customization options have soon learned that consumers that invest time in designing their products, they want to share their creation. They want to share it with their family. They want to share it with their friends. And this social aspect helps companies to engage with these customers and also draw new customers to the website. So for example, North Face, which offers customers the ability to customize, has launched a gallery of designs that are created by their customers for their famous Denali jacket. And so when other customers look at this library of designs that are created by other customers just like them, they are inspired to create more. So there's something to be said about the social sharing aspect of your creation. So make sure you allow to share that. And I'll cover some of this later in the presentation. And enhance the customer experience. This is very important. Engaging customers through the customization raises the stakes, because you're telling your customers that customers will be able to do more on your website than other websites. So if you're going to play this game, you need to make this process enjoyable, and you need to make this process error-free. And you must test to make sure the user experience is stellar. With that, I'd like to pass this on to Mark, who can take us through his part of the presentation, and we'll end with a short case study.
Well, thank you very much, Manish, and everyone for being here. LiquidPixels leads the imaging revolution. Our software is built on open standards and integrates into your existing web and workflow environments. We provide solutions leveraging the power of dynamic imaging to increase your productivity and reduce cost. LiquidFire OS brings functionality to our customers' websites and emails that isn't possible with any other solution. We help you bring opportunities and options to your online shoppers that you don't even know you want to have available yet. We help you turn what seems impossible into reality. LiquidPixels has developed dynamic imaging solutions to address all sorts of challenges. Through LiquidFire OS Zap and LiquidFire OS Blaze, combined with the capabilities you're now privy to through the LiquidPixels and Pulse Commerce partnership, your imaging challenges are no longer challenges. Humans should not work for computers. Computers make available to us revolutionary tools, tools which can enhance our productivity, tools which can increase our flexibility, not just what we can do, but how well we can do it, and tools which can improve our agility, how we can rapidly respond to business changes and challenges. And these tools can also offer opportunities that stretch way beyond the previous conventional approaches. Consider the word processor replacing a typed page. Does anybody remember carbon paper? Or digital imagery replacing wet chemical photography. Computers bring vast possibilities to formerly limiting approaches. And dynamic imaging, the on-demand manipulation of digital images, offers both a relief from the mundane manual preparation and management of digital images, as well as removes many of the limitations that manual processing accidentally imposes. So a conventional product photography process might happen like this. We first start with initial image capture, and then we spend a lot of time doing manual background removal and image retouching. And then batch processing begins. We generate a set of images matching the current design requirements. Perhaps we need a pinky nail for the shopping cart, a thumbnail for the search view, medium size for the project view, and a large form for the zoom view. Oh, wait, we've got mobile. Now we need to consider high DPI displays, too. We need a 2 times and 3 times size copy for each of these. That's 12 copies of every image. And this example is actually understating what we see in the industry. When you add in other required forms such as email, graphic ads, promotional pages, affiliates, the average number of copies of every product image is higher. And what happens when your website design team changes the design? What do you do when your design team says, let's make every image a bit larger? So humans shouldn't work for computers. LiquidFire OS provides a set of tools that, among many other capabilities and opportunities, can present your product images at any size on demand. The batch processing just doesn't need to occur in the dynamic imaging world. So rather than point to a static image on your web server, LiquidFire OS allows you to describe the image you want, much like a recipe. I'd like product image 123.jpg, but scale it so it fits in a 300 by 300 pixel canvas, and oh, I'd like it as a JPEG quality 90. We're in Genie with a lamp world now. You can describe what you want, and it magically appears. That last part's important, the part where you can ask for a high-quality image of your product and dynamically managing image compression. LiquidFire OS helps you manage the optimum size, format, quality, and delivery trade-offs for every situation. Every image can be delivered in the most ideal way, desktop versus mobile, product image versus thumbnails, conventional versus high DPI displays. Dynamic production imaging allows you to focus on the business design and customer needs, not on the imagery. And LiquidFire Resolve allows your site to detect and determine the user's environment and adapt your image delivery automatically. So as online shoppers visit your website, LiquidFire Resolve automatically reformats and compresses your image to ideally match the container on each different device. And with this new magic world, adapting your images to new evolving situations is now merely changing the recipe. As new business demands evolve, a new image format, new design demands perhaps, or even initiatives like WAI, the Web Accessibility Initiative, LiquidFire OS helps you adapt to the changing world effortlessly. Well, the second challenge is advanced imaging. Advanced imaging requires everything that we just talked about, but it also includes the need to customize and or personalize products, change the color, add text, etc. You might need to present your product in many fabrics. You might need to create an on-demand PDF document. You may wish to present specific products to a specific shopper. Are your products available in multiple colors, multiple styles, different fabrics? Using dynamic imaging to create every possible product image allows you to present a massive amount of product variations that you would otherwise be unreasonable to photograph, prepare, and deploy. And you may wish to go further to present personalized products to individual shoppers. Advanced imaging allows you to go beyond brick and mortar to present customized and personalized products as they would be delivered. Product customization allows you to present products that are available in various colors, textures, fabrics, or combinations, whether it's apparel presented in all available colors and textures, furnishings presented with specific upholstery or finishes, or even entire scenes highlighting individualized tastes and selections. It can all be visualized with Liquify OS in real time. As retail seasons change, so too can the options that you present to your shoppers. And dynamic imaging can, of course, go further, focusing now from groups of customers to the single individual. With Liquify OS, personalized products can be visualized interactively. So our customers are using LiquidPixels advanced dynamic imaging solutions to visualize embroidery on apparel and luggage, engraving on glass and other metal materials, silk screening and embossing of gifts, pretty much anything you can visualize, all the way up to personalized print-on-demand products like calendars or even children's books. Dynamic imaging solutions bring you the tools you need to prepare and distribute and visualize your products in any size, any format, on any device. And coupled with the Pulse Commerce platform, Liquify OS can present personalized and customized images on demand.
All right. Thank you for that, Mark. We're going to hand it over back to Manish so that he can discuss the live case study for MyWeddingReceptionIdeas here.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That was brilliant. I want to share with our audience a real live case study where both our technologies, Pulse Commerce and LiquidPixels combined, produced some outstanding results for this wedding supplies retailer, MyWeddingReceptionIdeas. So they went live with the combined technology in the first quarter of this year. And as you can see from the screenshot on this page, prior to LiquidPixels, one of the common themes that they would get in form of customer reviews and questions. This merchant gets a lot of reviews because they really are very driven to customer service, and customers really love their products and the experience that they have, so they get a lot of feedback. Certain products have literally 700-800 reviews on them, and they come in very rapidly. So the reviews would constantly say, I wish we can see the product, what it's going to look like. That's the only challenge we have with the website, because we can personalize the item, but we have no way of visualizing what the end result would look like. And these are mostly brides who are planning their wedding. And as you know, it's a very personal affair. So these users, they will plan many times up to 6 months in advance. It's a long sales cycle, and these brides are constantly being bombarded by advertisers, by marketers, so the attention span can be very short. So the challenge that this merchant had was, how do you keep this user, the brides, engaged throughout that journey, which could last as long as 6 months? So we went and partnered with LiquidPixels because this was the one technology that doesn't require the user to go out of the website. It's all seamless behind the scenes. So if you go on this website and take a look at the product detail page, you won't even know that LiquidPixels is powering this technology behind the scene, because it's so easy to set up. And customers can go about picking their option, and then they hit design and view your proof online, and the image on the left-hand side will automatically re-render with all the text and options and colors that the customer selected. And that's something that has really transformed this customer's business outcomes in a big way. They started out with testing this technology on 6 different products, and now I believe that they've pretty much rolled it out across the board, and they're also thinking about adding it to other websites. So this has been a real case study that has been extremely successful, and the results are on the following page, which I'll get to in a moment. One of the clever things that we did working with LiquidPixels that not too many of LiquidPixels customers have implemented, we knew And this merchant knew that saving and sharing this personalized creation is going to be very important, especially for the brides that want to share this item with their friends and family and solicit feedback. And what is a better platform to share than social media? So there were a few technical hurdles that we were able to cross because Liquidfire works on dynamic imaging, which means that you can change the attributes of the image using URL and parameters, whereas social media websites can only take static images. So we were able to kind of build some technology behind the scenes that creates a static version of the image that can be shared on social media, as you can see on the right-hand side. And this has been very popular. And not only can the user share these images, now once this item is personalized, now that can be used in all forms of personalized one-on-one marketing. So all the marketers in the room, think about your retargeting ads. You know, most retargeting ads will retarget the product that you visited, but how about retargeting you with your own creation across the web? That's immensely popular and immensely valuable. Now the same personalized item will appear in your shopping cart instead of a generic item, and then the same personalized item image will appear in your order confirmation email when you place the order. And then finally, in the delivery notification or delivery confirmation when UPS drops this item at your doorstep. So all this creates for this very persuasive architecture, which is possible using the power of Pulse Commerce and Liquidfire and LiquidPixels combined. And let's look at the results on the next slide. We saw the stats from the Technovia study, and these results actually blow that out of the water. You know, average time on page went up 212%, bounce rate down 55%, and conversion rate on the items that have dynamic imaging and personalization is 81% higher than the products that don't have this technology. So the results speak for themselves, folks. So if you're thinking about, if you're in this line of business that allows for personalization, time is now to take advantage of it because this is one thing that Amazon cannot do. You know, we all hear about Amazon eating the retail world, and this is one merchant that has not been affected by Amazon one bit. In fact, they have gained some serious competitive advantage by employing technologies like this because you cannot get this from Amazon or Walmart or Jet. Leaving the quantitative stats, and below are some qualitative reviews and data from, hey, I wish I could see the proof. The comments have now changed to the cup design created online looked exactly the same when the cups arrived. And I'm so pleased that they look just like the preview. And this is coming within the last 30 days, so you know it's fresh, it's new. That's pretty much all we have for today. We are happy to take more questions, but just to sum up, the key takeaways from the concept of personalization and customization is know what you want, know how much customization and personalization you really need to offer. Throwing the entire kitchen sink at the customer is not a great idea. Keep it simple. Allow people to share, especially on social media. Enhance the customer experience, and don't disappoint. You know, as more retailers and brands like yourself give your customers the design it yourself option, you should see a boost in profitable revenues. This should allow you to stay connected with your best customers, and this should allow you to lower your cost of conversion and cost of marketing. And the winners will be those who know their objectives, understand how much customization they really need to provide. Winners are those that keep things simple and create a repeatable model for delighting customers again and again. It's not a transactional relationship. Think about it as a long-term relationship where You allow the customers to take advantage of this once, and you continuously delight them the next time they come. That's all I have, and then we're happy to take questions.
Thank you for that, Manish. That was a really interesting case study with some amazing numbers for the merchant. We are almost out of time here, so we're going to take two really quick questions. The first question there is for Mark. Mark, do you have a special handling for mobile devices when it comes to dynamic imaging?
The short answer is you don't need to with dynamic imaging. So if you incorporate, if you don't want to incorporate Liquify or Resolve, you can have your dynamic imaging solution target your particular device as necessary. If you do incorporate Liquify or Resolve, we can go a step further and using that technology, learn more about the client and network that's in use and further optimize beyond what can be gleaned just from the server side. So the short answer is one of the wonderful things about dynamic imaging is that it makes a lot of the challenges of imaging in the mobile world vanish.
All right, that's great. Thank you, Mark. The next question is for Manish. Manish, how easy is it to integrate Pulse Commerce e-commerce platform with LiquidPixels?
Well, it's pretty easy. There's two parts to that question. We have some built-in integration, native integration already in place that allows the customer to take advantage of the architecture. Think of dynamic imaging with respect to integration and e-commerce integration. The easiest way I can think of describing it is think of it as a Photoshop image with layers. Layers represent all the different forms of personalization and customization that you can do. So the customer has to set those up directly in the LiquidPixel Liquifier platform and then connect them with Pulse Commerce. So it's really simple. There's just a little bit of inertia getting to learn, which is really easy because it's all WYSIWYG, what you see, what you get. You can get started very quickly. And then as long as you can quickly scale and build all of that into the Liquifier platform, you can bring many products to market very, very quickly. So the barriers are significantly lower than they once were, and this technology really works, as we saw from our case study. So I highly encourage, if anybody has specific questions or would like a demo of our platform or talk more about it, to please contact me or contact Mark. We'd love to talk more one-on-one and share more details.
Thank you, guys. I think that's all that we have time for today. Thank you to both the panelists. That was a very informative webinar. And thank you to all the attendees for spending the past hour with us. We will be sending the recording to everyone here, so you look out for that in your email. And like Manish said, if you have any follow-up questions that you think of after the fact, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is on the slide there right now. And thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.